start recording. So yeah, hello everybody and welcome to this session about the Stinging Fly Summer School and the workshops. I'm just going to take you all through the information that we have on our website and take a look at the submittable form, and then we can answer any questions that you might have about the process. Give me a moment while I start sharing the screen. If perhaps if you could mute, please, so that we don't get that interference. And yep, so I'm going to start by sharing our own website page. Here we go. So, yeah, so this is the workshops page on our website. Scroll down a little bit and you get to the summer school information. And this first page just has all of the key information that you need in terms of the key dates. So obviously our in-person summer school runs from Monday 30th of June to Friday 4th of July at the Irish Writing Centre, that's in Dublin. And then the online summer school runs the following week, Monday 7th of July to Friday the 11th of July. People applying for the summer school should be available to do the full week, whichever week that they're applying for, and to be able to attend all of the sessions. Our in-person workshops during the week of that first week will be fiction with Mia Gallagher, creative non-fiction, Roisin Kyberd, poetry Moya Cannon. And then we also have an entry-level fiction, which we did an earlier information session about, and that's with Sheila Armstrong and Olivia Fitzsimons. And then the following week, from the 7th to the 11th of July, we have online workshops, and we have choices there between fiction, non-fiction, creative non-fiction and poetry. And there are various fiction options divided up over between morning sessions, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Irish time. All of the times here are Irish times. And then 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. The various workshop leaders are listed there. It's going to take you through to the summer school workshops page. And here we go. So this repeats that information about the lineup. And yeah, so if you go click here, you get more information on each of the individual workshops that has been compiled by Owen for you. And that takes you, gives you the information about the workshops, each of the workshops. Are you seeing that page in that PDF now? Is that right, Owen?
Yeah.
Yep. So this is the PDF that you can access on the website, and that this has more details on how each workshop leader approaches their individual workshop. The essential thing, though, about our workshops at the summer school, apart from the entry-level fiction ones, is that people are submitting work in advance to be shared among the entire workshop group, and all of this is then read in advance, all of the material, and then during each workshop, the focus is very much on each participant's work being read and being discussed, and provided each workshop participant gets feedback on the pieces of work that they have submitted for the workshop group. And so it's very much, encouraging that process of, providing your workshop colleagues with feedback on their work while receiving that feedback from each of the colleagues in turn as well as from obviously the workshop leader in each case. But yeah, so I'll leave you to go through those workshops depending on which workshop that you're interested in. I know on this call we'll most likely have a mix of people who are considering either one of the fiction workshops, a poetry workshop, or the creative non-fiction. So we have obviously in-person and online options for both of those. Um, I'll go back to the summer school page. Yeah, so the workshops in person run from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day.
Mm.
Um, and sorry, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. each day, whereas the online workshops, as I've said, are divided between 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. morning sessions, or the separate workshops running from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Um, all of those Monday to Friday. During the online workshop week, we also organize separate sessions in the afternoons, so between approximately 2:30 and 3:30 each day, on the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of that week. And they are kind of either author talks or agent talks or other publishers, um, that type of thing. Those are not kind of essential that people join, but they're kind of offered as added extras, to kind of broaden people's understanding of the writing business or the publishing business. Um, and that's what they're designed to do. I'm going to stop sharing for a second, and I'm going to take a look at the submittable form, just so that you get an idea of that. Also on the website, there's the information about the fees. Everybody, so there's a fee to be paid for each of the workshops, but anyone who is on wage or low income is entitled to claim a concession rate. Um, and then we make one free place available on each of the workshops, and those are intended for people who would otherwise not be able to participate in the workshops at all because of they wouldn't be able to afford to. And we try to make everything that we do accessible to people. Um, so that's what's intended there. So if you are on wage or no income, you're entitled to a concession rate, and then you're also entitled to apply for one of the free places and tell us why you benefit from a free place. I'm just going to go in now to share the submittable form. So this is when you click on the link to make the make the application on submittable. 1 second. Here we go. Yeah, so these are for the fiction workshops, but it's the same essentially for creative nonfiction and poetry as well. We ask for your name, we ask for your email address, and we ask for your phone number. We ask you to tick this box that you have read all the information about the summer school on the Stinging Flies website, and that you understand that if you receive a place in one of the summer school workshops, you will have to share 2 pieces of work with the workshop group for feedback and discussion, and that you will submit this work 2 weeks before the workshop begins. I mean, the whole premise of these workshops are everything is built around the idea that we are offering people the chance to get feedback on their work that they otherwise wouldn't have, that they would get to meet, connect with a group of writers who are at a similar stage of writing as themselves, and potential there for to form a writing group perhaps into the future, but that everybody coming into the workshop will have shared work in advance, and will is expecting to receive feedback on that work, and is willing to offer their workshop colleagues feedback on the work that they have submitted as well. We ask then for you to introduce yourself in the cover note, tell us what you like to read, what you like to write about, and give as much detail here as you can about your current writing projects, whatever it is you're working on at the moment, and any previous writing workshop experience. And then we ask you to tell us the specific areas of your work you think that you need the most help with. Now, these are really important parts of the application process, the cover note and telling the areas that you need help with, because these will allow the workshop leaders are the ones who will read all of the applications, and they will be trying to put together a group of people who they believe they will be able to help during the workshop week. So they'll be reading the sample of work that you submit to us, but they'll also be reading your answers to these questions and trying to gauge what level you are at with your writing, and to what extent do they feel they'll be able to help you, uh, you know, develop your project over the course of the week. So they want to see, I suppose they want to see that you're at the stage that you will benefit from taking part in the workshop, and that they'll also see from the work that you've submitted how any issues that you perhaps don't recognize yourself, but that they will also feel that they will be able to help address throughout the workshop. Um, and they will be looking for a group of people that they can work with, and who they have a sense that this group of people, from the information that they got in this application, they have a sense that this is a group of people that should, all going well, work well together, and that's what they're hoping to get from it as they go through the applications, to feel that they have the potential for a good week's work. Um, the workshop experience itself is quite intense, whether you're doing it in person or online. And we are hoping to attract people who are at the point where they're perhaps submitting work to us and to other magazines, but they're not making the final cut in terms of acceptance for publication. But there is potential in the work that and there is potential for this workshop format to help you develop your work through the kind of process of it being read by the other workshop participants and the workshop leader, and kind of teasing out any issues that the writer that within the work that can be addressed by the group through the workshop format. And then there's the question around the unwaged low income. So if you want to avail of the concession rate, because you are unwaged or low income, you can simply tick this box and we'll apply the lower fee when we're making you an offer of a place. And then if you wish to be considered for a free place, you tick this other box and then you tell us why you would benefit from the free place. And then you tell us which of the fiction workshops you're applying for. And so that has all the options there. I would say, again, go back and read through what each workshop leader has written about their individual workshop, to get a sense of whether what they're presenting will suit you. And I would also obviously advise you to kind of choose the one that suits you best. Not everybody will be able to do the in-person workshop in Dublin, but some of you, the online option will obviously be better. For some of you, the 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. slot will work well in terms of your schedule, other life commitments, or it may be that it's the 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. slot that suits you best. It may be that it's the workshop leader themselves and the work. If you're familiar with their work already, and you benefit from working with them over the course of the week, that's another way to decide. But try, I suppose, and try and make a decision. And if there is genuinely no preference, well then you can tick the bottom box there and tell us that. And then we just ask you how did you hear about the workshops? And this is where you submit the work sample. And we're just looking for 1,000 words, up to 3 pages of a story. That should say really, or a novel extract. We'll change that. And then again, story word count. It's or that's really just how much you've written so far of the current writing project. So it just gives a sense of where you're at with the project. You know, again, I'd say that ideally, I suppose these workshops are designed for people who are in the process already of either writing a novel or writing a short story collection, and that you have work already written that you feel would benefit from being submitted to the workshop process. I think it works best if if you're already writing and submitting work to magazines. Um, but we understand as well that some people use the application as a deadline. That's okay too. Um, does anyone have? I'm going to stop sharing. Does anyone have any questions at this point?
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Just the two pieces of work.
Yeah.
Um, is it two pieces to be uploaded? There's a mention of 1,000 word limit.
Yeah. So the application just requires the 1,000 words, and then when we are offering you a place, if we are offering you a place, you'll be given details about how to upload the additional work. It's just to
Great.
make it very clear to people at this stage that that will be part of the process. That we are expecting people to have work that they are ready to share and get feedback on if they are eventually uh, offered the place on the workshop. I'm
Thanks.
seeing a couple of things on chat, but I'm not sure what they are just yet. But and then if any, yeah, a reminder that you can use the react button and raise hand if you need to, if you want to ask a question. We'll come to you as well. So Amy, there you have a question. Great.
Yeah, I'm just wondering about the no preference option. Is
Yeah.
there a way for us to communicate if, for example, we can only do the morning slots or the evening slots?
Um, there is. Let me look at the form again. I mean, you can make that clear in the cover note. So if
Okay.
you're, and then you would choose, I suppose, the no profit preference slot, and then we would, um, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
And Amanda,
Hi there. You may have said this already, so I apologize. Is the application when you're applying with poetry, is it slightly different? So I wouldn't be putting in two pieces of poetry in the first instance, or might it be slightly different, or would they be just put on one document, maybe?
I think it might be two pieces of poems, is it, Owen?
Thank you.
You've asked such a difficult question there.
Sorry about that.
No, not at all. I mean, I don't think it is a difficult question, but I just want to be sure. I think it is two pieces of poems, and you would put them in as one document. Yeah, is that correct, Owen?
Yes, that is correct. Sorry, I was muted.
Thanks, guys. That's perfect.
Okay, and Mia,
Hi, Declan.
hello.
I'm wondering if when I'm applying, there are two workshops I would like to do, and I'm kind of torn between them,
Yeah.
applying for them. And I wonder, is it possible to tick two boxes, or are you stuck to picking? This is something I can discover on my own as well, I'm aware. Um, are you stuck to picking like no preference or just one?
Um,
Because what if I fit in with one but not the other, and then I don't apply for it? Also, I've never been accepted before, so this is my last shot.
yeah. Also, good question. Good questions, the ones I don't have an immediate answer for. And I kind of go, what?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's discoverable when you're doing the application, I suppose, when you go to try
Yeah.
and.
I think we are encouraging people to make a decision and yeah,
Okay,
to apply
difficult.
for
All right.
for the one or the other. Um, so the one that appeals to you most in that situation.
Mhm.
Um,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Marina, let's see. Let's see what you have for us.
Yeah, my question was, um, are the free places available for the overseas applicants to apply to as well?
Yes.
Um, they are?
Yes.
They are, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so there would be, and we had that question earlier about, yeah, so it's definitely open to everyone to apply for the workshop, for the summer school generally, wherever you happen to be, and then also, yeah, the concession rates and the free places, they're open to everyone as well to apply. So, Kathleen, do you have a question?
Yeah, on the fee, and apology if this was answered already because somebody came to my door. So it says there's a fee for each workshop. So say the online one, 375 for each workshop. I presume that's the set of workshops, or like
That's for the week.
The week of workshops.
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. So each workshop is viewed. Each workshop lasts a week and is viewed as the single
Okay.
entity. Any other questions?
There's two people with hands up.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Elizabeth. Hello. Yes, I need.
Hi. I was just wondering how the fiction online workshops function. Do the participants they present work, and is that whole session? Do they have one session each, or are there multiple participants in each session?
Well, so we started doing the online fiction workshops during COVID, as you know, because we weren't able to do in-person ones, and we kind of adapted them from the original format, which had worked in person. But essentially, we do just shorter days and smaller groups, but what we've held on to is that each workshop participant submits two pieces of work, and that's gone through in rotation. So once we get to the stage where we're offering, let's say, 6 participants an online workshop, each of those 6 participants will submit 2 pieces of work each, and the workshop leader will read all of the work at that stage and come up with a running order, and we'll figure out how to get through all 12 pieces of work during the 15 hours available. And then also do any kind of other teaching that they want to do for the group as well. So it might vary between having each piece of work having 30 minutes or 45 minutes or 50 minutes or an hour. That'll be up to how much time the workshop leader wants to give to that process, and it will be based on kind of their own sense of what will most benefit the group that they have brought together. But essentially, each piece of work, so 2 pieces of work by the 6 people in the online group, will be discussed during the week, and then there will be additional kind of teaching from the workshop leader, based on their own reading of all of the workshop material and their sense of what will benefit everybody within the group. If that answers the question.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great.
Great. And Mary, I'll come to you. I don't know if there was anyone else with a question, but I'll come to you, Mary Lynch, first.
Thank you. I'm just wondering, would you recommend in those 2 pieces of work, if you get to that stage, would it be recommended that you would take them from 2 separate projects that you're working on, or 2 pieces from one project, or does it matter?
It's entirely up to you. I mean, so I think even applying for the workshop at this stage, I think you have to kind of you have to kind of know what will benefit you most from the workshop week. I mean, and from having the opportunity to work with a group of writers. And so if that's, you know, a chapter of a novel plus a story or 2 stories or whatever it is, or I mean, I'm assuming it's fiction here, but it could be that you're working with creative nonfiction or poetry. So it really is up to you to kind of decide what are the pieces of work that I would most benefit from at this point, getting feedback on. And yeah, it's
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Anna. Hello.
Hi, I was wondering how many participants are there in the in-person workshops?
So it'll be 10 because there's the longer day. So the 10 in each of those, I think.
Okay, thank you.
And Mairead.
Oh, hi. So does it for the initial submission, does it have to be the first 1,000 words of the piece of work? And you also ask about how many words the finished piece is, but if the piece isn't actually finished. So, like for example, my novel has about 65,000 words written, but it's
Yeah,
complete because obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but it does need editing,
yeah.
which I would hope that this workshop would help me with. So, can I submit any part of that I choose or what?
I think so, yeah. You can. Absolutely. Just not and yeah, and then you can kind of give a sense in the cover note of how much work you've done on it, where you think you're at with it, and um, and then also I suppose you're giving a sense of what are the issues that you're facing with the work and how you want what kind of help you want with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Uh, I, I, Anna, did you have another question? Or Marina, did you have another question?
Yes, I do actually. I was reading up on the website, you see, and so I understand you send for the online poetry, you send in 2 poems for the submission, for
Yeah.
the application. And then later on, if you get accepted, you'd send 3 or 4. But the 2 that you send, should they be your best ones to get you into the course, or are they ones that will also get looked at in the course as well?
Well, so you have an opportunity to decide when you're submitting, when you've been offered a place, you can choose to put in the 2 that you had already submitted
Okay.
application.
Yeah. All different
Again,
ones.
that will be up to you.
Okay.
I would say that what you're it is better that you're submitting drafts of poems because the workshop leader needs to feel that they see potential for them to help you with the work. And they're
Okay.
also trying to get a measure of, like I wouldn't say that you submit a first draft, but that you definitely submit something that you're still working on that you feel you need help with, and the workshop leader can decide if they're able to help you with, and they'll also be able to see where that work sits alongside the other applications that they've received, and is there potential for you within a group, the context of the group, of fitting in terms of the work, of the help that you need. Is it similar, I suppose, to the stage that other workshop participants will be at?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Thanks, Marina. And Maeve?
Sorry,
Hello.
can you hear me? Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry that I don't know if this even makes sense, but you were saying there the most benefit really would be for work you've already done. You want to basically improve it and kind of capitalize on that feedback. Do you think like in my case it'd be more as you were saying, a sort of deadline and a way to like get myself going a little bit?
Yeah.
And do you think like is that kind of the wrong reason to be applying, or do you think that's still like would that still work okay, that you could obviously write these 2 pieces for submission in the hope that you would kind of like be able to keep going with it, or is it just for something you've already kind of come to an end with nearly?
Well, I think I know we've had people in both camps or from both camps do the summer school, and I'd hope that they all benefit.
Mhm.
from it. I think um, there's the danger, the main danger as I see it in you know in submitting work to this type of workshop, which is very fresh, is that you're not really invested in it yourself. And so therefore when you're getting feedback, it's like kind of it's harder to give feedback on work like that um because it's not developed to a stage um where I suppose that it's really going to benefit from getting feedback. So if you've spent time with it and kind of really tried to bring it as far as you can, and then you're getting these outside eyes coming in, and they're able to kind of like, but you are invested to the point where it's something that's important to you, to get it right. Whereas I suppose that if you've just submitted a draft that's very early on, well then the motivation maybe to keep going with that, if it does get kind of robust criticism, might be less, if you understand.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm not sure if I think, definitely you would be invested in the pieces that you've written. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, would you have to have a lot more written? Like, because in my case, I would be invested in what I've written. It just might
Yeah.
not, like, it might not be. Anyway, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
and
Thanks.
that's yeah, no, yeah, and that's a valid thing. And then it's just a question of the workshop leaders will be judging it and seeing if they can, if they see potential in the work, and if they see how they can help you progress the work. And and that's still a result for everybody, so it's as valid an approach as any.
No, that's perfect. Thanks a million. And sorry to bother you with the last question. Is it just at the workshop that you talk to the leader, or do you get like any one-to-one?
There's no available. It's not possible to do kind of one-to-ones
Great.
with it.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right, thanks.
So thanks, Maeve. Any other questions?
Declan, there are two
Oh
questions
yes.
in the chat. I might just read them out. So Rosie asked, I think this is about the sample of work that you submit as part of the application. Is it up to 1,000 words, or can we submit a shorter segment or scene that arrives at a neater cutoff point?
I would say, yeah, I mean, shorter, yes. I mean, I suppose like if it's 600 words or 700 words or 800 words, that's fine. I wouldn't be submitting 150 words because that's harder for us to judge. So I suppose, yeah, like we're kind of allowing for the fact that certainly with fiction we get quite a few applications, and then we don't want to overburden the workshop leaders with having too much to read, which is why we have the kind of 1,000 word cutoff point. But so there's no issue with it being somewhat shorter than that, but I wouldn't go too short. It has to give a good, strong enough sense of what it is you're doing. Thanks, Rosie.
And then there's another question from Emma. I notice you have 6-month-long workshops too. Can you talk a little bit about the differences between them? Is there any benefit to applying for one over the other?
Okay, well, the 6-month workshops kind of were how we started. We started doing those, I mean, or one of those. And the summer school is kind of meant to be a shorter, sharper, and more intense version of that. So over the 6-month workshop, people submit work 4 times, whereas you get to do it twice in a week in the summer school. The benefits, I suppose, of the 6-month workshop are that you are, life is going on in the background more so. You're kind of you're changing as a person and as a writer during that 6-month period. your work will be developing kind of in a more kind of natural way um, between each kind of workshop session. So the workshop sessions will be weekly over the 6 month period, whereas like there's a brilliant and brutal intensity, I suppose, to the week of the summer school, where so all of the work is there. You've read all of it before you meet um, your fellow participants, so you'll know them through their work because you've read it in the week leading up to the workshop, and then you'll have a sense of who that person might be. Then you meet the people, and they're completely different. But you are then going through that process, and it's like, but the work has all been submitted in advance, and it's taking you through all of that. So it's just a very different experience as opposed to giving feedback on two pieces of work on a Monday evening, let's say, or on a Wednesday evening every week, as opposed to being in the room with the five other writers or the nine other writers, either online or in person, and that's and then it's just one day after the next during the week. So it's the intensity of the experience, I think, that is the main difference. And obviously, some people can commit to doing a week where they can't commit to doing 6 months. That's obviously another difference for people as well. But we do, I mean, again, both are based around the value as we understand it of getting good, robust feedback on your work from people who have come to an understanding of what it is that you're trying to achieve in your writing and have read the work in advance. I think we might just stop recording now because